And we're back. Okay, a few hours later, I'm sorry. I finished Smackdown and NXT, and I decided I wanted to just relax a little bit. So, that's what I did. And, no knowledge on the villas at Grand Floridian front yet. I still haven't received a message from Lindsay yet, so hopefully I'll get that very soon. Actually, I might get that while I'm filming, so it could happen. Let me check the iPod to check if there's anything here. Nope, nothing here, so we're good. Alright, before we talk anything, remember how I said earlier on today, during the Impact recap, that is available right now here on this very pop playlist. Unless you're watching this on the NXT and Smackdown playlist, in that case, well, you can find it on the pop playlist, or if you want to check the Impact playlist, it's in there. As I said, we were very, very close. We were 42 views away from 10,000 views. Well, you know what? It happened! We are officially now at 10,023 views here on Pop. And I want to thank each and every single one of you, friend or foe, depending on who you are, doesn't matter. Thank you out there for watching these videos. Views have happened over and over and over again, and thank you to the regulars, thank you to the subscribers, thank you to the people that just found us on a whim, and thank you for getting us to 10,000 views in 8 months. It's only taken 8 months to get us to 10,000 views here on Pop, and we are still 4 subscribers away from that 100 subscriber, 10,000 view mark. So that's what I'm trying to shoot for right now, so hopefully I'll get that very soon. Okay, I mentioned evilstakesroot.com, and there was a new PS video that was posted today. Well, Horror Unearthed officially went live today, so yeah. You can check out hhn23experience.com, and you too out there can sign up to be part of the Horror Unearthed Legendary Truth Collective game at Halloween Horror Nights 23 at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Starting, Impact Games will start on September 20th, which is the opening night. And, you know, I'll be there. I'll be there for opening night of Halloween Horror Nights, and I'll be going back on the 27th, the next Friday after that. Because my pass is good for the first 3 Fridays. Obviously, I'll be there the first 2 Fridays. The 3rd Friday, I'll already be gone. If I was potentially there for that Friday, I would have been able to get my own Run Disney shoes and having to buy them off eBay. Yeah. Or Shop the Magic. ShopTheMagic.com. I got a little notation into there right now. So hopefully that'll work out. More housekeeping. I actually want to mention another thing as well. Ben and Will be joining me in a couple hours. It's about 4 o'clock, so Ben and Will will be joining me in a couple hours. They'll be here tonight. I said there's going to be some new stuff from them either this week or next week. I don't know when it will be posted, but it'll be shot tonight. So we got that. So that's coming up. And tomorrow, of course, we're going to do our Raw recap. But again, I'm very sorry this video took so long to do. I've been, like I said, I've been really busy with work lately. And when I wasn't working, I was exhausted, so I needed a day to relax and recoup myself. Even though today I basically cleaned the house and did the laundry, and I did everything today with the exception of mow the lawn, and I did that on Friday, and I won't have to do that again for another couple more days. I got all that stuff done today, and everything's good. It was a nice, relaxing day for Suro and Disney, and now I can hopefully, all rejuvenated, get ready to go back to work. So, back to work meaning entertaining you all out there in YouTube land. So, we're going to talk about NXT and Smackdown for this week. So, let's start off with NXT for this week. And there's the Thunder. Awesome. So, NXT for this week was based upon the main event, which is for the NXT Tag Team Championships, as Eric Rowan and Luke Harper representing the Wyatt family defending against the #1 contenders to the NXT Championships, Corey Graves and Adrian Neville, as well as the debut of Ashley Fleer, aka Charlotte, Ric Flair's daughter, in-ring debut against Bayley, and Bo Dallas wrestling just a non-title match against Scott Dawson, as well as the #1 contender to the NXT Championship crowned in a three-way dance between the mercenary Leo Kruger, Antonio Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. And that's how we started the show off, with this big three-way dance to determine the number one contender to the NXT Championship held by Bo Dallas. So, midway through the match, that's how we do it here on Pop, folks. Swiss uppercut on Sami Zayn, whip in, reverse, backdrop, lands on the ring apron. He goes up top, big time flying body press, but it's turned into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Cesaro, 1-2, and Zayn kicks out. So, he jaws with Kruger, who they can't decide who's going to put Sami Zayn away, and a Swiss uppercut on Leo Kruger, and basically Sami rolls him up 1-2 and a kick out. So he charges in, he catches the back elbow, and Kruger charges in, catches a boot, and hooks him up in a high T-bone exploder style suplex, and he suplexes out of the corner while Cesaro's got the German on the waistlock, setting up for a German on Sami Zayn. So it's kind of the Tower of Doom spot, which is not off the top. It is a an exploder, high cradle exploder suplex and a German suplex at the same time. So it was really nice maneuver there. Basically, Cesaro grabs, deadlifts Leo Kruger with the side salto and deposits him over the top rope to the floor, so he's out for the foreseeable future. Locks that big-time chin lock on Sami Zayn, and he swings with it like he always does. Goes for the Gotch-style neutralizer, and Kruger catches him from behind with the slice, and he covers Zayn 1-2 and a kick out, and he goes for the cover on Cesaro 1-2, and again, Cesaro kicks out. So he goes for a bear hug, he gets caught, and there's a flatliner on Cesaro and a DDT at the same time on Leo Kruger by Sami Zayn, taking both men out at the same time. Sends Kruger into Cesaro, rolls him up, 1, 2, and shoved off into Cesaro. Cesaro throws him up in the air, most likely going for Swiss Death, and he gets caught, catches him, going for the sit-out powerbomb, gets reversed into a Hurricane Rana, and 1-2, and barely Cesaro kicks out. So Kruger gets tossed over the top rope by Sami Zayn, theoretically taking him out of the equation at least for the moment. And another Swiss uppercut by Cesaro, sets up for the Gotch-style neutralizer. He hits it, and before he can make the pin, Leo Kruger slides under the bottom rope, throws Cesaro out of the ring, steals the win, and steals the victory. Leo Kruger is your new number one contender to the NXT Championship. I don't have a problem with this. I know what happens from this moment on, but obviously this hasn't been covered on television yet, so I'll keep my mouth shut on that. So, we have now crowned Leo Kruger as the number one contender to Bo Dallas's NXT Championship. So, what do we get next? We get a matchup with Bo Dallas, non-title, against Sylvester Laforte's Scott Dawson. Scott Dawson, of course, I've mentioned numerous times, even Regal mentions it on commentary. He's a throwback. He's kind of like what would happen if it's like you have an Anderson's vibe to him, you got a Buzz Sawyer vibe to him, you got I'll even go like new school, you got a Trevor Murdoch vibe to him. He's very old school in his the way he does things in the ring. Obviously his tag team with Garrett Dillon, very old school tag team, so very appreciative of this on NXT. So Scott Dawson going one-on-one against the NXT champion, Bo Dallas. And Bo nails two flying forearms off the ropes. Gut shot, comes off the ropes, nails a kick to the side of the head, and a Bo Dog out of the corner. And he catches him off the ropes into the belly-to-bow suplex. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you heard me. I called it a belly-to-bow. And that planted him 1, 2, 3. And then Kruger comes in and he attacks and he pounds away. And Kruger's end on Bo Dallas. That's not the first time we're going to talk about that maneuver tonight. We'll talk about that later on the SmackDown recap when it's called something else. So he hugs the belt. A chant rings out for "Thank you, Kruger." He raises the championship in the air, tosses it on the prone body of Bo Dallas. That same thing he did when he re-debuted with NXT a couple weeks ago. First off, Leo Kruger's the heel. Bo Dallas is the face. I said this on the video, in the last couple of videos, I'll say it again. Bo Dallas is the John Cena of NXT. The fans, women and children, love him. The other fans, the male members of the audience, not so much. So obviously they don't care who it is as long as someone puts Bo Dallas out. Well, here's the problem. You're pushing Bo Dallas as the babyface, and he's getting chants against him. They want to see Leo Kruger take the NXT Championship, and that's not necessarily a direction you probably should be going. They even were chanting "We the People" for Antonio Cesaro in the opening match. So, I mean, these fans legitimately hate Bo Dallas. Like I said, he is the John Cena of NXT, so it makes sense. I'm going to start calling him Bo Cena. So, basically, there's that. So, we get our next match of the evening. It's the very perky, very cute, I'll use the term cute, because cute works with this, Bayley, taking on the debuting Charlotte, Ashley Flair, the Nature Boy Ric Flair's daughter. So, Ric Flair himself does come out and introduces his daughter, and she comes out very athletic. She's got a very strong gymnastics background, and you can definitely tell. Not necessarily sure that translates very well to wrestling, but stranger things have happened. Jackknife cover from Bayley, 1-2 and a kick out, and goes for a backslide, 1-2 and a kick out. Oklahoma roll, 1-2 and a kick out. So Ric Flair takes off the jacket like it's party time, and a boot and a scoop slam plex. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, a scoop slam plex. So she literally picks her up in a body slam, and she like suplex throw with it, so it works like that. 1-2 and kick out. So whip in, she goes up and over, and a big clothesline, and she finishes Bayley off with a one-handed diamond dust, basically is what it was. Utilizing that gymnastics background, she grabbed her by the hair, and she flipped with it. It was kind of like a front flip neck breaker. Like I said, it is a one-handed diamond dust, gets the pin after that. Not a very good debut for Charlotte. This was really good for Bayley, though. I'm really very happy with her offense in this match. Worked really well. And basically, Ric Flair being out there didn't hurt things whatsoever. Very good to have the Nature Boy in your corner when you are Charlotte. I get it, Charlotte. She's from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's so lame. But still, okay debut, I guess. Hopefully we see more from her, and this is all building to the amazing NXT Divas division, which, of course, will be ending with the NXT Women's Championship on the line in the tournament final next week, with Paige going one-on-one against Emma. So we'll talk about that later on, actually. So, apparently next week Sheamus is going to be on, and Sheamus is going to be showing up, and he'll be facing off against someone. Doesn't matter who it is, he doesn't care. So, we see him get attacked, and then we see the very familiar white boots, and of course, we pan up, and it's the Wyatt family. It takes only one stone to bring a giant to his knees. Tell him I said, follow the buzzards. So yeah. Awesome. So basically Bray Wyatt and his Wyatt family have targeted Sheamus. I don't have a problem with this. Maybe that's actually a storyline you can actually run in the WWE. You can have Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family go after Sheamus to play up the match that they're going to have, well, presumably they're going to have next week on NXT. You know, the NXT that I'll be able to watch in a couple days. So, there's always that. But we'll find out sooner rather than later. We get a debuting vignette for Tyler Breeze, and he is a male model, and he says, next week we will witness gorgeous. Well, for those of you that don't know who Tyler Breeze is, it's the repackaged Mike Dalton. Mike Dalton, of course, trained by Lance Storm, and he worked for FCW, former FCW champion. He even beat Leo Kruger for said championship. So he's going to be making his official return to NXT, and I think it's, I don't remember, I read on I was reading stuff about him on Wikipedia. That's how I found out it was Mike Dalton. Because obviously I just started watching NXT several months ago, so I don't know much about the background of Florida Championship Wrestling, but I do know a little bit about it. And I do also know for the fact that I think he faces Angelo Dawkins next week. I'm not positive. That match will be on next week. His debut is next week. Paige and Emma is next week. Sheamus taking on, presumably, a member of the Wyatt family is next week. So all this is going to be next week. Next week, as in a few days from now. So, main event of the evening, it is for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Wyatt family's Luke Harper and Eric Rowan defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against Corey Graves and Adrian Neville. Well, this match was actually really good. And, of course, when you get these 4 superstars in the ring, you got some gold on your hands, to be totally honest. So, yeah. Basically, there's a neck crank by Eric Rowan, and this is on Corey Graves. So Graves fights up, and when he fights up, you think he's presumably going to fight out of it. He's going to punch out of it, elbow out of it, kick out of it, knee strike out of it. Nope, doesn't happen. He gets headbutted by Rowan and knocked back down. So he sends him in the corner, tagging to Luke Harper. Harper with the big uppercut, the European-style uppercut. So they trade blows. Quick tag into Eric Rowan again. So a short whip into a bear hug on Corey Graves. So Graves tries to fight out of it. He eventually does with the elbow strikes out of it. He gets caught with a back elbow off the ropes, makes a cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So tagging to Luke Harper. And 3 big elbow drops, 3 giant elbow drops, 1-2, and again Graves kicks out. So he locks on the back hammer lock, and locked into a chin lock as well, so it's kind of locked in the same place. Looks really awesome. So he fights up, he elbows out of it, does Corey Graves, big sunset flip, and he gets caught with a drop kick from Luke Harper. Yes, the former Big Rig Brody Lee threw a drop kick, and it looked pretty good actually, to be totally honest. Tagging to Rowan, big leg drop to the back of the neck, makes the cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the abdominal stretch, and at insult to injury, he takes his fingertips and he grinds them into the rib cage while he has the abdominal stretch locked in, kind of like a claw, basically, into the ribs of Corey Graves. So Graves desperately needs to make a tag at this point. Big back elbow, clothesline to the back of the neck, 1-2, and again a kick out. Big headbutt, tagging to Luke Harper. So Harper comes in, and he catches him off the ropes with a big sideways layout version of the Winds of Change, or the Black Hole Slam, or a Spinning Boss Man Slam, depending on how you want to call it. And he gets he doesn't get a pin out of that, actually. He just plants him. So he charges in, he misses the big boot in the corner, and that ends up crotching him, sending him over the top rope to the arena floor. And tagging to Eric Rowan, and a hot tag, Adrian Neville comes in with a big high kick. He kicks Luke Harper, and a big diving Rana off the ring apron sends him down to the ground. And this point, basically, Bray Wyatt was rocking back and forth in his trademark, his trademark rocking chair, and of course, he decides he wants to get up, and he does, but he's not getting up yet. He's about ready to get up. So he basically comes off. Big, huge moonsault on Rowan and Harper right off the top rope. He probably is about 30 feet up. Well, I'd say 30 feet up in the air. Obviously, that ceiling is probably not that high. I'd say at least 15, 20 feet up in the air. I'd say about 15 feet, probably more specific. So anyway, come back in. Nails a Phoenix Splash from the middle rope. 1-2, and barely kicks out. So Bray Wyatt comes off on the apron, he gets kicked off, and not before he gets crotched on the top turnbuckle, does Adrian Neville, and he gets planted on the canvas. He goes for cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So Sheamus comes out, and he brawls with Bray Wyatt, slams him shoulder first, or actually, in this case, head first, into the ring steps, so take Bray out of the equation. So Rowan is up to his feet, and Graves diving clip takes the knee out from under him. Adrian Neville heads up top, going for the red arrow. He hits it, 1, 2, 3, and we have brand new NXT Tag Team Champions in Adrian Neville and Corey Graves, and Sheamus helps them celebrate, and that's how we go home on NXT this week. Entertaining show. What we learned today, boys and girls? Well, Bo Cena is the John Cena of NXT, and it doesn't matter who's in the ring with him, the fans will cheer for that person. Even if it's someone as dastardly as Leo Kruger or Antonio Cesaro. I want to see many, many more matches between Sami Zayn and Antonio Cesaro in the near future. I remember watching the old Claudio Castagnoli El Generico matches, and they were awesome, and I really want to see this match continue in NXT. We've had 2 awesome matches of them from NXT, and I want to see more. So Scott Dawson held his own against Bo Dallas. That was fine. It was okay for what it was. Charlotte had a very auspicious debut. She won, but it wasn't very decisive. So Bayley actually looked really good in this match in more ways than one. So yeah, hopefully look forward to more to come from Bayley in the near future. So Sheamus will be on NXT next week, and the show in a couple days, taking on presumably a member of the Wyatt family. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. I believe he faces off against Luke Harper. You have the debut of Tyler Breeze, which is the former Mike Dalton. He's going to be facing off against Angelo Dawkins next week. You're also going to be seeing... That's going to be taken... Wow, long day. That's going to be the big part of next week's show, and it'll be interesting to see what comes from that. So yeah, the big main event of the evening. NXT Women's Championship. Not Divas Championship. NXT Women's Championship on the line. The two biggest fan favorites in the NXT locker room, Emma and Paige, will go at it one-on-one to determine who is the first NXT Women's Champion, and it's going to be awesome. And Corey Graves and Adrian Neville pull the win and win the NXT Tag Team Championships, beating the Wyatt family just out of nowhere. So it worked really well, and Wyatts don't lose any heat on this either. So it was good. It was a good way to do it, and it's sad about Cassius Ohno, because obviously I'm a big Chris Hero fan, and it sucks that his push is kind of deflated right now, and hopefully he'll bounce back a bit, and he'll end up in the main roster of WWE sooner rather than later. So that was NXT this week, and I'm going to just go spring right into SmackDown, because it's almost 4:30, so yeah, we're going to talk SmackDown now. So, once again, I'm going to tell you right now, I DVR'd this, and I'll have a bone to pick with WWE like I always do. I DVR'd this, and, I found it on YouTube. So I watch it on YouTube. Of course, YouTube, there's no commercials, so I don't have to fast forward through anything. And obviously, I can fast forward through all the Raw Rebound gaga that obviously I already talked about on Monday last week. So needless to say, I don't want to discuss it again. I'm going to talk Raw. I'm going to talk Raw tomorrow morning, or tonight, depending on how you look at it, depending on when I get the video out. Full disclosure, it'll probably be filmed tonight and put up for tomorrow. That's pretty much what I'm banking on right now. So, Teddy Long comes out, and he basically talks about how Vince McMahon's going to be here later tonight, going to give him a job evaluation, kind of like what he did with Vicky Guerrero on Raw Monday night. So Booker T comes out, makes his official in-ring return, and, not in-ring as in in-ring competitor, in-ring as in he shows back up. Obviously, he's been nursing a bicep injury for a while. That's all taken care of now. So, he basically says he's coming back to be the general manager that SmackDown deserves, obviously. So Vince comes out and he says, you know what, only one person can be in charge of SmackDown. So, I want you to wow me right now. Gentlemen, tell me what matches you would make if you were put in charge. So Teddy goes, you know what, how about tonight we see another matchup, this time for the Intercontinental Championship between Curtis Axel defending against Y2J Chris Jericho. Vince is like, okay, that's fine. So Booker's like, okay, fine. Not to be outdone, obviously, he one-ups Teddy Long, like, hugely and goes, how about we have ourselves a matchup between the current reigning and defending World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio facing off against Mr. Money in the Bank, Randy Orton. So Vince is like, tough decision. So we hear the Raw theme, which is the first time this has happened, and Brad Maddox comes out and he says, you know what, how about I be general manager of both shows since I'm already general manager of one? And he's like, okay, I'll throw my hat in the ring here. How about tonight you see the in-ring return to SmackDown of Rob Van Dam? And the crowd goes nuts for it. So Vince is like, well, that's a good idea, but the permanent SmackDown general manager should be, and he pauses for effect, of course, Vicky Guerrero. So Vicky comes out, hugs Vince, smiling. She hates the WWE Universe, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say. So, Vicky is now the SmackDown General Manager, which means we'll be seeing her on October 8th in Columbus. I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, Will does. So, if you notice, and you'll notice this real quick, this is a 2-hour SmackDown. This is a page. These are 2 pages, front and back. And this is a 3/4 of a page, and my writing is actually going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try to not be so heavy on the hullabaloo, and if there's going to be an in-ring segment or a promo, I'm going to try not to do, I don't know, everything word for word verbatim, because that's kind of annoying. But I will try to cover the pertinent facts, so that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing from now on. So, the first match of the evening, Jack Swagger, of course, out with Zeb Coulter and Antonio Cesaro, Zeb's Militia, or the Real Americans, since it's the PG era, taking on the show stealer himself, Dolph Ziggler. And Ziggler goes for a 10 punch. He gets stopped. Huge takedown from Jack Swagger. And he gets stuck. He comes off the rope, gets nailed with a big standing drop kick from Dolph Ziggler. So they pull him out of the ring. And Ziggler tosses him back in. He goes back in to attack. And Cesaro grabs him, pulls his foot, knocking him off the apron, right into the Swiss uppercut. So, basically the referee doesn't see this, but he kind of finds out what happened, and he's like, okay, fine, you want to do this? You're gone. And Zeb's like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, he gets tossed out, too. So it's going to be a one-on-one singles match between Dolph and Jack Swagger. Okay. So, he gets tossed back in. Dolph catches him with an inside cradle, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for a big sunset flip, 1-2, and again a kick out. Goes for the Patriot lock. The pressure is put on the ankle, and it's countered, flip forward, and when he reaches his feet, zigzag by Dolph, and that's the match. So, yeah. Dolph gets on the mic and goes, you know what, last Monday I dumped AJ. You know what, I'm sorry I didn't do it a whole hell of a lot sooner. So AJ sees this, and she tosses chairs around in the back, and she's having a temper tantrum. And Big E tries to console her, and then he starts getting hit by her and everything, and they look into each other's eyes, and then they kind of stare down, and they lean in like he's going to kiss her, and then he kisses her on the forehead and bombs out. So, yeah. Okay. Continuously, basically continuing the angle that we're leading towards with Big E and AJ being more than friends, I guess. Yeah. I want to talk about this angle. So, whatever. So, yeah, Dolph dumps her, and now he's hashtag Face Ziggler. So, hopefully soon he'll be at Face Ziggler, because that'll complete everything. I'm pretty sure it's not official until he's officially Face Ziggler on Twitter. It sounds strange, but it's true. So we get a matchup between the WWE Tag Team Champions, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, representing the Shield, taking on Jimmy and Jey Uso. This match never gets started. They brawl, and then all of a sudden, the Usos get the upper hand. Dean Ambrose comes out, the United States Champion, of course. Don't forget that. He's still champion, even though he scarcely ever defends the title. I'll say that, and he'll defend the title on Raw tonight or SmackDown on Friday. So, Mark Henry comes out, makes the save, and the numbers game gets too much for the World's Strongest Man, and then the Usos come out, make the save, and they send the Shield packing. Yeah, all that happened in the span of like 5 minutes, and I condensed it into like 15 seconds, so I win. Yeah, of course we were leading towards Mark Henry and the Usos taking on the Shield in a 6-man. I don't know if that's going to happen on Raw this week, tonight. I don't know if it's going to happen on SmackDown on Friday. I taped on Tuesday. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, though, and I think we are leading towards Mark Henry being a babyface. This was mentioned, I don't remember, it could have been Donnie, because obviously it's not Donnie, because the O Show was dark this week. It could have been somebody from the WNS podcast, or it could have been Jeff Jackson. Either way, one person of somebody I listen to on a regular basis, they did make the mention, and I will agree with this. Maybe that retirement speech was a little bit more truthful than anticipated, and because Mark Henry doesn't have much time left, he's going to try to go out, not necessarily on top, but he's going to go out as a babyface so we can get a nice big reaction before he hangs up the boots once and for all. And if that's the direction we're going to go, I don't have a problem with that. Mark Henry has a strong, menacing monster babyface. I don't have a problem with this. Next match of the evening, Wade Barrett taking on the MVP of the WWE, Daniel Bryan. And we go midway through the match. There's a whip in, a reverse. He ducks the clothesline, gets caught, like getting ready to be fall away slammed. He puts him on the top turnbuckle, and he basically punt kicks him in the ribs. Goes for a cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So those knee strikes to the head. and slingshot into a backdrop, into a backbreaker. 1-2 and a kick out. Nice move for Barrett there. Modified surfboard, knee firmly planted between the shoulder blades. Bryan elbows out. The yes kicks in the corner. Nails a back kick to stop the momentum, does Barrett. Whip in, backflip, lands on his feet, comes off the ropes, catches him with the crucifix. He rolls him over, locks in the yes lock, and Barrett taps. So that was the match. So yeah, Daniel Bryan wins a strong match, and God, how the mighty have fallen. Maybe WWE really doesn't know what to do with Wade Barrett. And I've been talking about him. I've been putting him over for the longest time. He just seems like he's stuck in suspended animation right now. You need to do something with Barrett. And I don't think WWE is going to anytime soon. I don't know why. I just think something's not clicking with Barrett. And that sucks, because Barrett's awesome. So yeah, because Vicky ends up slapping Brad Maddox in the back when he tries to apologize. Or, I don't know basically Vicky slaps Brad in the back. It was like, Brad's like, she basically is like, okay, let's shake hands. And instead of shaking hands, she does the Ric Flair, swats the hand away, and then slaps Brad in the face. So yeah. That's all that needs to be said. We get Miz TV with Paul Heyman. The Miz comes out, of course. He's got a full set this week. Paul Heyman comes out and says, Miz has nothing to ask. Well, basically, no, he doesn't say that. He basically stands there, and Miz basically pretty much said he has nothing to ask. Say what you want. And he calls him Mr. Mizanin, which makes me laugh right off the top. He's like, I'm merely an advocate. Brock Lesnar has his sights set on CM Punk. I offer this public plea to CM Punk. In the immortal words of the fist tattoo of Corey Graves, stay down. Stay down, Punk. Go home. Leave the WWE Universe behind. And don't ever think about getting back up again. Because if you ever show your face again, you will be dealt with extreme prejudice by Brock Lesnar. Miz is like, really? 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 You swore on your children, and you still lied. So Miz just walks out. So, not to be outdone, Paul Heyman's like, before you leave, Miz, I do want to let you know something. Basically, I want to introduce you to your current reigning and defending Intercontinental Champion, Curtis Axel. So they have a stare down, and there's no altercation, and Axel's going to face off against Chris Jericho. This is Jericho's last match before he goes on tour with Fozzy. So we won't see Jericho until at least October, at the earliest. So, big Northern Light suplex on Axel, 1-2, and a kick out. So he tips up and over, ducks the big clothesline, and once he ducks the clothesline, he gets clubbed in the back of the neck from Axel, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for a big splash from the corner, he misses, he goes up top, Jericho nails the flying body press, 1-2, and a kick out. Codebreaker gets countered into a spine buster, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes to the chin lock, he fights up to his feet, Jericho elbows out of it, whip in, and goes shoulder first into the ring post. Big scoop slam on Y2J. Going for the middle rope driving elbow, the Bret the Hitman Hart style, second turnbuckle on the inside elbow, and he misses. Shoulder block, comes off the ropes, duck the big clothesline, enziguri kick, 1-2, and a kick out. Whip in, throws off the facebuster attempt, and he gets caught with the axe to grind off the ropes, 1-2, and Jericho kicks out. Whip in, and he telegraphs Axel's drop kick, holds onto the ropes, obviously. Nails the lion salt, 1-2, and again a kick out. So, 3 big knee strikes, toss him over the top rope to the ring apron, and he goes up top. Jericho goes for the crown, gets countered, boot in the midsection, goes for the perfect plex, counter, into the walls of Jericho. Paul Heyman jumps up on the ring apron for the distraction, and he drops down, roll up from behind, trying to hook the tights to steal the win, 1-2, and Jericho kicks out. He goes for the walls on Curtis Axel. Axel valiantly crawls to the ropes, and he makes it, calling for the rope break. So, go to the floor to regroup, and Jericho nails him with a pescado, a slingshot, plancha, depending on how you want to call it, and tosses him back in, and Heyman goes for the distraction yet again, Kick to the head as Jericho's trying to get back into the ring. He gets caught with a perfect plant. That's what we're going to call this, folks. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. So Curtis Axel retains the Intercontinental Champion. Chip. It's not 2 words. Champion and chip are not 2 words. I literally wrote championship. The Intercontinental Championship by defeating Chris Jericho. And Jericho's swan song with WWE, at least for now. So he won't return till the fall, probably, like I said, October. Ryback comes out, and they brawl for a bit. Jericho ends up getting nailed with a meat hook. Ryback nails the shell shock, kicks him in the ribs as hard as he can. He says, "See you later, Chris," and that's the end of that. So obviously we've not seen the end of Ryback and Chris Jericho, so I think they will probably still be brawling, still be fighting, still be unsolved resolution between these two by the time Jericho comes back to the company. So Damien Sandow comes out. Of course, he is the Smackdown Money in the Bank winner. He won the all-heel Money in the Bank ladder match. So he basically said, "I did not screw Cody. Cody and I are still best friends." So he calls Cody out to basically talk to him face-to-face, man-to-man. Cody comes out, looking his Clark Gable best, and he basically, Sandow changes his mind and goes, "You know what? No explanation needed. I understand why you did it. You know what, Cody? I forgive you. You know what? I'm going to give you a little token of my appreciation. I'm going to give you a little title. How about you can be the protector of the case? Until I decide to cash in Money in the Bank, you keep the case free from harm, free from tampering, free from anybody. You're in charge of the case. You earned it. You earned this." Well, like you earned this, basically cost Penn Jillette a firing on Celebrity Apprentice 2 years ago. This caused Cody Rhodes to jump Damien Sandow after nailing him in the face with the Money in the Bank briefcase. They brawl, and he has the case in his possession, and Cody just launches it up the ramp, and Sandow grabs it and scurries to the back. So that's the end of that. So Rob Van Dam returns in-ring next, taking on No Days Off Darren Young of the Primetime Players, of course, with Titus O'Neil at ringside with his whistle. I think it's highly funny. You are watching a Rob Van Dam match with someone out ringside incessantly blowing a whistle, and it's not Bill Alfonso. I'm sure that was a nice little throwback to RVD for that, and a nice little throwback to ECW fans for that as well. So Young goes for a kick, step over, spin kick. You know how you do this, and standing moonsault, backflip, splash, whatever you want to call it, 1, 2, and a kick out. So big pescado on Darren Young, and he tosses him back in, nails a super kick, goes for Rolling Thunder, but he gets stopped, big forearm by D. Young from behind, and he gets dropped throat first across the top rope, 1, 2, and a kick out. So chinlock is applied, he elbows out of it, and he kicks him right in the face into the springboard, into a 180 flying body press, 2 big clotheslines, and a wheel kick from Van Dam. Young nails a clothesline of his own to stop the momentum, 1, 2, and a kick out from Van Dam. So spinning heel kick, Rolling Thunder connects this time. There's a big shoulder, goes for a sunset flip, springboard into a kick, and the 5-star frog splash finishes it, 1, 2, 3. Basically what it was just a showcase of Rob Van Dam. So yeah, that's all this match was. So Vicky Guerrero tosses Teddy Long out of the building, and that's all I'm going to talk about that. So we get our main event of the evening, Randy Orton taking on Alberto Del Rio. So ADR comes off the top. He gets Pillman countered, which is the drop kick when someone's coming off the top, by Randy Orton. Vintage Orton, which of course clothesline, duck the opponent's clothesline into the Samoa Joe snap power slam. But when he goes for the snap power slam, he gets caught and turned into the cross arm breaker, which he gets to the ropes, ducks the Del Rio clothesline, nails him with a 3.0 backbreaker, 1, 2, and Del Rio kicks out. So Snakebite DDT is countered. This time, a step-up enziguri kick sends Randy Orton over the top to the floor, actually, off the ring apron. Tosses him back in, makes a cover, 1, 2, and a kick out. So he mocks Orton, starts pounding him out like an idiot, and he goes for the RKO of himself, and he gets countered into that Samoa Joe snap-style power slam, 1, 2, and Del Rio kicks out. So he drives both knees into the shoulder. Basically, he's worked on the arm, worked on the elbow, worked on the shoulder the entire match. He goes for the snakebite. He goes to charge in. Orton catches him, throws him into the short throw into the ropes, locks in, and snakebite DDT. goes for the RKO. It gets countered into the backstabber, 1-2, and Orton kicks out. So boot in the midsection, goes for the cross arm breaker, roll through from Randy Orton, and Del Rio tries to finish him off with a GSK, the grounded sidekick, which is what he won the World Heavyweight Championship at Payback from Dolph Ziggler with. And he gets nailed with the RKO, 1-2-3. And that's the show. Orton raises the Money in the Bank briefcase up in the air, and that's how we go home on SmackDown. Well, let's talk about this. What did we learn today, boys and girls? Well, basically, Teddy Long has pushed around both Booker T and... Well, pushed Booker T around so long that Booker T's pretty much had enough, but Booker T's a babyface, so he really can't do much, so... Basically, Vince McMahon is the one who comes out and does his party and basically brings Vicky Guerrero out to be the permanent Long Day SmackDown general manager. Brad Maddox comes out. He gets slapped in the face. Dolph Ziggler wins a one-sided matchup against Jack... Well, kind of a one-sided matchup against Jack Swagger that has a couple of hope spots for the heel. I know that makes no sense, but still. The Usos and Mark Henry are brawling with the Shield. I don't have a problem with that. Daniel Bryan beats Wade Barrett very distinctively. Miz TV with Paul Heyman pretty much ends up with absolutely nothing. The Miz walking out, and because he's so disgusted about Paul Heyman's presence. Chris Jericho and Curtis Axel had a great match to end Jericho's this run in the company. And I don't have a problem with that. So, Damian and that with Ryback jumping him at the end, that basically puts him off television until October to go tour with Fozzy. Damian Sandow comes out. He basically tries to make his best friend, Cody Rhodes, the protector of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Cody accepts the briefcase and crowns him with it. So he cracks him in the side of the head with it, and he takes it, and he throws it, launches it halfway up the ramp, and Sandow runs for cover. Like I said, these two will meet at SummerSlam with the case on the line, I guarantee it. Rob Van Dam wins a squash match against Darren Young. It was fine. Van Dam got to show off his abilities. It was alright, just a pay-by-numbers Rob Van Dam match. Vicky tossed Teddy Long out of the building. Okay, fine. Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio. It was okay for what it was. Decent main event. Del Rio tries to go for the RKO. I thought it was funny. He was pounding them out like an incessant idiot like Orton does all the time. And he went for the RKO, and he got thrown off, and Orton ends up planting him with the RKO after Del Rio misses the GSK. So yeah, that's SmackDown. Not the greatest show overall. Storyline progression, basically, nothing in the first match. Nothing at all, really, except for a feud between Dolph Ziggler and AJ and Biggie Langston. The will she or won't she end up with Biggie Langston if you're going to go that direction. The Usos and Mark Henry are fighting the Shield. Daniel Bryan taps out his former Nexus leader. And Miz TV ends up with pretty much just the introduction of Curtis Axel. Axel and Jericho had a really good match. Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes will be battling for the briefcase probably sooner rather than later. Van Dam returns to SmackDown, squashing D. Young, and Randy Orton and Del Rio had an okay main event. So that was SmackDown this week, so yeah. Kind of a lackluster show. Hopefully Raw tonight will be better. The Big Show returns. Yay! And the Wyatt family, of course, will be on the show tonight. So, yeah, Wyatt actually attacked Three-Man Band and Justin Gabriel on main event this week. And I don't review the main event, but I might start. I haven't quite decided yet, so we might throw the main event onto recaps. I haven't quite decided yet. Maybe no. I've already got too much on the NXT and SmackDown. We might talk main event sometime. And, oh yeah, before I finish this video, I would like to issue a comment about the fact that I recently watched The Last of McGuinness, the documentary that Nigel McGuinness did, chronicling his retirement tour that was done in 2011-2012. Basically, this is an amazing film, and you can really feel Nigel's distaste with everything, and the fact that he genuinely understands the cards he's been dealt, and he still has battled back, and he of course still is working for Ring of Honor at this point. And if you are a Nigel McGuinness fan, if you're a fan of Desmond Wolfe and TNA, watch this. Watch The Last of McGinnis as soon as you possibly can. This is literally one of the best wrestling documentaries I have ever seen in my entire life. And props to Nigel for making everything. So yeah, so I'm very happy to see Nigel is actually still touring with Ring of Honor, still doing spots here and there. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, this was I gotta see this here. Yeah, 2011 is when he retired. So yeah, it's 2011. I was reading things right there. It actually talks about his last matches, and it showcases his last match. And the last match of Nigel McGinnis in the ring was an APWA show in Clarksburg against TJ Phillips. So yeah, somebody I've worked with too. So TJ's awesome, and yeah, that was really cool to see that. Well, so yeah, check out The Last of McGinnis if you get a chance for it. It's very worth it. It's an amazing documentary, and Nigel's a jam-up guy, and there's a lot of lies that are spread on the internet about him, and a lot of the dirt sheets have thrown out a lot of things to try to throw him under the bus. In this case, throw him under a train, because obviously this guy's been kicked so many times it's not even funny. Listen to the real story, the true story of Nigel McGinnis. Just check it out, The Last of McGinnis. It's amazing. You also can follow him on Twitter. It's at McGinnis Nigel. And he actually, really jam-up guy, and really cool to see that he's come through so much. He had so much adversity throughout his career, and he's done so much in the wrestling business. And he kind of doubted if he really mattered in the long run. But you know what, Nigel, you definitely matter 100%. I know a lot of people, I know more people would say you mattered in the wrestling industry than would not. So thank you, Nigel, for everything you've done for the professional wrestling industry. You may never go to WrestleMania, but it doesn't matter. You have entertained the masses throughout the world, and that would be your claim to fame. You are an inspiration to independent superstars everywhere, that your dream may change, but you still can attain your goals. So, with that being said, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. We will talk Raw tomorrow, and I will be reachable, as usual, on Twitter, at SirOwenDisney. You can email me, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com, if you have any ideas, any questions, any reactions, anything you want to comment on these videos, please do. You can retweet them. You can share them on your social media. Post them. Get the word out about the Popcaster Revolution, and spread the word about this YouTube channel. Get us another 10,000. I mean, who knows? The sky's the limit now, folks. We've got 10,000, so who knows what's next. So, subscribe if you like these videos. Tell your friends about these videos. And watch these videos, continue to watch these videos, and the other videos here on Pop from Will, and AJ, and Ben, and the videos soon to be coming from Molly, all the awesome Popcasters I've got here working with me. There's some amazing people, and I'm very happy to be working with them, and I'm very happy that we all can entertain you on a regular basis here on Pop. So, until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.